Okay, class, we're now chapter 17, part 4, and we're still talking about different forms of business, particularly forms of businesses that have some form of limited liability. So another form of business is called limited partnership. A limited partnership is an old style business. It's not as common today as it used to be, but the characteristics of a limited partnership are that it requires that you have at least one so-called general partner and one limited partner. You can have more than one general partner and more than one limited partner, but you have to have at least one of each. And the characteristics are these. For the general partner in the limited partnership, it's just like a regular general partnership. That person has personal liability for the liabilities of the limited partnership, just like would occur in a regular partnership. However, the limited partner does not. The limited partner sometimes is referred to as a so-called silent partner. Why? Because that person cannot take part in management of the partnership, and as a benefit of that, they receive protection in terms of liability. So they cannot be held personally liable. Their only liability is the amount of contribution that they have made to the limited partnership. Okay, so it's sort of a method of investing in a business without partaking or without participating in the management and having the protection of not being personally liable. However, if that person does participate in management, then they can lose their protection of limited liability. So most states have adopted laws allowing for limited partnerships and using the Revised Uniform Limited Partnership Act. Okay, so here's what I've already talked about. The general partner is responsible for management and has full responsibility for the partnership and all of its debts. The limited partner simply contributes cash or assets, does not participate in management, and is not personally liable. The formation is a formal and public proceeding. Unlike a partnership, it does require certain formalities, usually through the Secretary of State, receiving a certificate of limited partnership. That certificate includes information such as the name, mailing address, capital contribution of the general and limited partners. And you file that with the Secretary of State. So as I said, the general partners are personally liable. Okay. Okay, in situations where one of the general partners is a corporation, because the corporation has limited liability, if the corporation is a general partner, no one in the limited partnership has personal liability. Okay, so if you have more than one general partner, though, each general partner obviously would have to be a corporation in order to have protection from liability. That would be sort of a really convoluted type of arrangement, but it's very possible. So other than management, limited and general partners have essentially the same rights. And limited partners have the right to inspect the books, and there are fiduciary duties for both general and limited partners. Disassociation can be voluntary, can also be involuntary. Under the Revised Uniform Limited Partnership Act, in order to withdraw, you have to give 6 months' notice unless the partnership agreement specifies some other term. Certain events can cause disassociation. The voluntary choice by the limited partner or partner, bankruptcy, retirement, death, or mental incompetence can also have that effect. Again, the distribution of assets, the winding up of a limited partnership is basically the same as a partnership. You collect the debts, you pay your bills, and anything left over is distributed to the partners and limited partners in accordance with the agreement. Sometimes disputes arise about the value of certain assets. In those cases, you have to have them valued by an expert or sold in a reasonable way in order to provide cash to pay off those remaining debtors, creditors, or distribute to the partners. Okay, last, I believe, form of business that's now been created by many states is a limited liability limited partnership. Is that enough for you to say? So in this form of business, both the limited partners and the otherwise general partners all have limited liability. So all the partners in this form of business have limited liability. The only difference is that it has limited partners who, again, do not participate in management. Okay, so that's a new form of business that's been created. So that ends chapter 17. Again, the magic word for chapter 17 is management.